In just over 1 week, Arena Breakout has become one of the most popular and most watched extraction shooters in the genre, overshadowing what was once thought to be the only game able to do that, Escape from Tarkov. See, there's been a handful of games over the past couple of years that have tried to compete with the chokehold Tarkov has on this genre, from small indie developers to billion-dollar AAA companies. Tarkov has been able to outlive just about every single one of these attempts to dethrone it from its spot in the extraction shooter genre. So how do they do it? Do they have the best graphics? Does the game have the best mechanics? Well, actually, mostly the answer is no. The real reason mostly lies in the true intent they had making this game. See, at its core, they make it very clear what this game is. It's a realistic, hardcore, military, modern shooter, and it'll always be that. And because of that, the popularity of this game can fluctuate greatly depending on the time of year. During the wipe, this game always has a huge spike in popularity and viewership, but if you look just a couple months later, you can really see why this game has zero competitors. Interest and viewership fall off a cliff. Now imagine being the second or third runner-up to this game. It's not profitable or sustainable, especially when Tarkov themselves can barely stay afloat. But a lot of these games are also very different from Tarkov. Whether they take place in different settings, use different guns, or have completely different lore, it's kind of hard to rival Tarkov when you aren't Tarkov, which is what brings us to this game. At first glance, this game kind of reminds me of Call of Duty, and it definitely shows the signs of a mobile game, and that's because it used to be a mobile game before it came to PC. But the deeper you dive into this game, the more you'll realize why it's becoming a problem for Tarkov. In some instances, it practically is a carbon copy of Tarkov. Let's just look at the loot for a second. Looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? Bronze lions, GPUs, computer components, which all have their own unique values and can be traded or sold on the market. Okay, but let's get into an actual game.
Hey, how goes it?
Bro, why is my mic still not working? Hello? Like, is my mic even connected? So this is the main operator, and it's pretty much the same thing as a PMC. So if you couldn't tell already, I'm with a teammate, and you basically just spawn in the map with other players and AI. You can even pull up the map, and you can actually see all the quests you have to do. Hello?
Oh, I got ya.
Oh my god, bro. My mic wasn't set to the right thing on my computer. I don't know why. Do you have to do any, like, quests or anything?
Nah, there's nothing I need to do.
Try to go over some hotel, I guess. So if you can't tell already, I have about like 10 hours on this game. But honestly, one of the best parts about the whole experience is that it really wasn't that hard to learn at all. Although for a beginner, I still think this would be a lot to handle. The motel is definitely the biggest hotspot on this map, and if you want a PvP, there's plenty of it there. But if you want to loot and do quests, there's about 6 other POIs that you could easily do that at. This player's close in front somewhere. There's one in front, like south. There's a player running up to us right now from 170. There's another one. There's, I don't know if that's AI shooting at him. And if you don't see it already, here's why it was so easy to learn this game. I think that was a scab, but I think there might still be someone above us. I finished my quest though, so we can honestly just get out if you want.
Okay.
I don't know what the best way to get out of here is. I feel like there's still someone upstairs. But if you don't have a lot of gear or you just need a quick re-up, you also have a zero risk covert operator that spawns in mid-raid with random gear. Why did you just kill me? I guess there's not scav karma in this game or something, but I don't really understand what the point of that was. Okay, but what about the health system? You have 8 body parts that all have their own health, and you also happen to have the same amount of health points as a familiar developed game that we all know and love. Okay, so you can definitely make a claim that this game is copying Tarkov. Does that really make it wrong? Where do you draw the line in a situation like this? Do you say supporting the game that wronged its loyal fans out of hundreds of dollars and years of promises? Or do you give the game that may or may not have stolen some pages out of Tarkov's book a shot? A game that also builds on what Tarkov has failed to do. There's also a lot of things that many people, including me, really like about this game. To start, the graphics are amazing, and I get about 80 more frames than I ever have on any Tarkov map. And there is a handful of quality of life aspects of this game that just make the experience so much more enjoyable. But my two favorite right now is the matchmaking and how easy it is to play with teammates. On average, it usually takes me less than 2 to 3 minutes to go from the main menu to win a raid. And if I die, it's a lot easier to build a new kit and not spend 10 minutes in the main menu. Something that I feel like a lot of Tarkov players don't like about the game is how much of a chore it feels like to build a new kit after you die. And personally, one of the smartest things I think they did with this game is when your teammate dies and you get their loot, as long as you extract, it'll go right back to their inventory. You don't have to bring all of it back into the next raid. That way, you don't have to spend the next 5 minutes of the next raid dropping all of your friend's stuff. And instead, you can get right back into the game. But we also can't ignore the serious allegations that Nikita himself is making against this game. It's one thing to copy this game's idea and style, but it's another thing when they're allegedly stealing entire assets and code from them. However, a lot of these statements are very vague, and there's not a lot of credibility, considering me and many other people have zero knowledge about coding and building a game. And if this is the case, why doesn't BSG just sue them? Well, for starters, Arena Breakout is developed by More Fun Studios, which also happens to be a part of Tencent Games. Yeah, going to court with a company backed by billion-dollar Chinese giants is probably not going to end well, but there also might be another reason holding them back from doing such a thing. Battle State games aren't squeaky clean either. First of all, ignoring everything that's happened the past 2 weeks, they're also not known for using many assets like guns without proper licensing and haven't really cared to obtain it either. And I'm not a lawyer, nor do I have any knowledge about this legal stuff, but I have a weird feeling you wouldn't want this to be brought up to you in court. So what exactly does this mean for Tarkov or Arena Breakout? Well, you can kind of already see the repercussions of Tarkov's mistakes on Twitter. This is the most active I've ever seen Nikita on Twitter, and Tarkov has had more changes and events happen in the past week than it has all year. But there's still a lot left to do in terms of gaining a lot of people's support back, and I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but I do hope they make better choices. As for Arena Breakout, they really are in the driver's seat right now. There's a big demand for this game, and just like Tarkov, it hasn't released yet, but it is already improving on Tarkov's system despite being pre-release. However, since it will be free to play, we can already assume that there is a chance that they can completely destroy this game with microtransactions, but nothing is really clear yet about the future of this game besides the fact that it is indeed a fun game. Regardless of all the controversy and other arising questions, I do think this game is fun and it is very inclusive of players alike. Their matchmaking systems and game modes make it a lot harder to get rolled by players 30 levels ahead of you on your first day of the game. If you don't have any teammates, you can squad up with 4 people, and there's 3 different types of game modes you can play. They're all actually the same thing, but it really helps filter out the PvPers that make a lot of money and the people that are still learning this game. So if you are a level 30 and have a lot of money, you'll get matched with people of the same caliber. So if you do want to casually play this game on the weekends, you can completely do that, and you can progress at your own pace without ever feeling left behind, which gives you a lot of freedom as to how you want to play this game. But anyways, to answer the question of this entire video, should you play this game? Yes. It's fun, it's optimized, and it really does flesh out a lot of problems Tarkov currently has. It's a lot faster to get into raids, and it's much easier playing with groups of people. If you want a Tarkov-like experience that doesn't make you want to rip your hair out, then try this game. Because there's not much separating a level 30 and a level 1, so the only true gap in this game is map knowledge, gun skill, and maybe money. There's no skills that you need to spend weeks leveling up, and has a lot more maneuverability that makes gunfights last way longer and feel much more engaging. And I feel like with Tarkov becoming more and more controversial, it's definitely good not to put all your eggs in one basket.